to baby girl here. We will make her a citizen too, yeah? And she will go to university and become a doctor and buy me a 4-story brownstone on Lenox Avenue, yeah?
Ma, please.
Okay, you don't have to be a doctor. I'll take engineer.
You have to let her be what she wants, Jaja.
I'm just playing with her. She can be whatever she wants. This is America, after all. Oh, my goodness. Just smile, Marie. For once, everything is working out for us.
Working out for you, maybe?
You all see this? That's how I know she's American.
All right, that was a look at the play entitled Jaja's African Hair Braiding, and nominated for 5 Tony Awards, including Best Play. Jaja's depicts a day in the life of a group of hair braiders in a Harlem salon as they experience the frustrations, joys, and occasional rude customer while working as immigrants in a country where they do not always feel welcome. Joining us now, the Tony-nominated playwright of Jaja's African Hair Braiding, Jocelyn Bio. She's also the co-founder of the organization Black Women on Broadway, and it is a joy to have you on the show this morning. So tell us about Jaja's. It seems the hair salon is sort of a meeting of all of Black society's challenges, including hair.
Yes, yes. I mean, I think there's a rich universality in hair braiding or barbershops, all of those places where people come and get some sort of service. And so I really wanted to highlight the women in the Harlem community who are really a rich tapestry of Harlem. They're, entrepreneurs, and they're also immigrant women who come from various different countries all over the continent of Africa and try to come here to America to create a better life. And there's something really universal in all of our experiences, and I think that's what audiences saw when they came to see the show.
Hey, Jocelyn, it's Alexi McCammond with the Washington Post. I'm so happy to meet you, and congratulations on your nominations. You're obviously a proven playwright, but I wonder if you could take us behind the scenes. And I don't know what it takes to pitch and produce a Broadway play, but did you have to convince folks that this was a worthy topic of putting on a stage and exploring? Were they like, what are you talking about? We're not going to do hair braiding as a play. What was that like behind the scenes pitching it?
I have to say, and that's a credit to Manhattan Theater Club, which is a theater that produced it. And then we had wonderful producers who came on board, Madison Wells, LaShawn, and a little-known actress named Taraji P. Henson. And no, I didn't have to do much convincing. I think everyone, when they read the play or we had a reading of it, realized that this story was really urgent. It was vibrant, and it was full of all of the things that Broadway plays should have. And so I'm happy to say it did not take much convincing in this case. I did a reading of it, and literally 15 minutes after I was told we'd love to do it on Broadway. So I was very lucky.
Wow.
Oh my
but
gosh.
I think that speaks to the power of what this play brings. Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, let's take a look at another clip where the hair braiders at Jaja's Salon discuss the education of the main character, Marie.
Look at those people whose house your mother was cleaning. If they were not on the board of your school, how else would you have been able to go there?
Okay.
B, come on. What? Everyone knows that's how Marie got into that fancy school.
Yes, but she took tests and got higher scores at the school she ended.
It's fine, Miriam.
All I'm saying is that Jaja puts too much faith in these white people. Okay, so they helped Marie that time. Fine. But when Jaja went to them asking if they would help with her papers, all of a sudden it was, oh, we don't know. We don't feel comfortable. And now look, she's still stuck.
So Jocelyn, tell us about that wonderful cast and how the show is resonating with audiences.
I mean, the cast was incredible. It was a cast of 10 actors, 9 women, 1 man, who were playing 17 different characters. The braiders who work in the shop, and then the various customers who came in. And I think the audiences from day one were just like so with them. I think they really connected to who they were as people. They saw facets of themselves in a lot of the characters, whether it was their mothers, their aunts, their sisters, or even just like like regular neighborhood people who are selling mangoes on the street or lotion or T-shirts. There's a rich, vibrant tapestry to what Harlem is, and I think that resonated with a lot of people. So it was a thrill to do, and even more thrilling that we're here now with all of these Tony nominations. It shows how long the play lasted in people's minds. Yeah.
I was struck, talking about plays lasting a long time in people's mind, I was struck in that last scene, hearing faint echoes of a certain Broadway musical from 65 years ago, West Side Story.
Oh, yeah.
When immigrants there were talking about the plight of getting to America, and of course, the women in that case being more positive, the men saying, sounding again more like a scene right there, like, please, don't have quite so much faith in this country and how immigrants will be treated. But yeah, 60 years later, there are faint echoes of West Side Story there, aren't there?
100%. I mean, I think that's my thing. I think people came into the play perhaps thinking it was just going to be about hair and braids and, just be kind of polite, conversation. And really at the center of it, the fulcrum of it is an immigrant story. Both my parents are immigrants from Ghana and West Africa, and they have their own unique journey of how they became American citizens and certainly chased after the American dream. And I think at the time that I wrote it, which was in 2019, we were having a very different conversation about immigration right now, and it kind of only had one face. And I really wanted to add to how this thing that was becoming a policy issue actually had humans at the center of it. And that was so important to me to be able to do that. And I think being able to reflect on, DACA, I mean, that was what, in that clip, that's what this, young girl is hoping to attain, but couldn't because it was so expensive. And so there's so much to the immigrant journey and trying to get the American dream. And I think it was important to be able to reflect that in a play that people thought was just about hair.
We're glad you did it. The play, Jaja's African Hair Braiding, is up for 5 Tony Awards. And you can see it on tour starting this fall in Washington, D.C. Yes. Tony-nominated playwright and co-founder of Black Women on Broadway, Jocelyn Bioh. Thank you so much for being on this morning, and good luck at the Tonys.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks so